For years, storm and insurance roofing sales was about as close to easy as this industry gets. You point out the damage, the insurance company pays for everything. The homeowner writes a check for their deductible, and you're on the roof next week. That world is changing fast. Deductibles used to just be a few $100s, and now they're as much as $10,000 to $20,000. RCV policies that used to replace the entire roof are now replaced with ACV policies that barely cover half of what that roof is actually going to cost. And the reps who build their entire career around that model are now sitting in homes trying to ask homeowners for real money, and they have no idea how to do it. They are losing deals. They are arguing with insurance companies, and some of them are telling homeowners that they can negotiate their claim, which is not only bad advice, it's also against the law. The industry's not going away, but it is going the way of retail. And the reps who figure that out now are going to win. The ones who do not are going to keep struggling and not understand why. Because the skills that made you great in insurance work are still valuable. You just have to know which one transfers and which ones have already been left behind. So what we're going to show you today is how to stop waiting on insurance checks, stop fighting with adjusters, and flip that insurance opportunity into a retail sale so you get paid immediately after the job is done with no back and forth and no arguing. And today, we're going to show you exactly how to get there. Let's get into how we take it from insurance to retail. First and foremost, why would we want to do this? If you acted as a contractor, then you get that opportunity now. You get to put the roof on next week, and you get paid immediately. Man, does that sound good? Many of you start the process, you fight with the insurance company, then you have to wait to install the job, then maybe 30 days later, they might send out the check, and then you get to fight with they're behind on their mortgage, you get to fight with the mortgage company to try and get that check. It is just an absolute nightmare if you look at it. And so what we have done is shown you how to switch this over. And so let's get into it right now. When we show up to the homeowner's house, first of all, we're going to show up just as you are right now, as you're showing up, and you are going to talk to the homeowner. We're going to see what's going on. They tell you about the storm, or you're going to tell them about the storm that just happened. And then you're going to go up and you're going to do your full inspection. You do everything that you would typically do. And then now, as you're bringing things down and you're showing them the damage that's on their roof, now is the time to let them know that you are the type of organization that has choices. Everyone else is going to push you right into a claim, and then they're going to shove this claim down your throat as well as the insurance company's throat. Bob and Mary, with us, you actually have choices. In the first choice, we have two choices here. We can actually go the insurance route, or we can do what we call fast tracks. If you qualify, we can actually go fast tracks. Now, if we go the insurance route, we can get this roof on in about 8 to 10 weeks. Because, we have a week for us to have our initial inspection. That's with me being here. And then, of course, we have the insurance. You have another week so that we can get the insurance inspection. That's when the adjuster comes out. I'm going to jump up on the roof with them and help them find this damage or justify the damage. The next one, I have another week for the insurance company to go through and give us their initial scope. Typically, that scope is just a generic scope. It has a lot of things that are missing, and we have to start, because all of a sudden we have 2 weeks where we're going to fight about the scope, and we're going to file what we call supplements. Now, if we're lucky, that takes 2 weeks. Typically, it can take longer than that, but I'm just going to budget here for those 2 weeks. Then we have the next 4 weeks where we are going to receive the ACV check. That's typically the first check. Then we put that roof on, and then we continue to wait and argue with the insurance company to get what we call the RCV check. So this 8 to 10 weeks can go 12, 14 weeks, even longer than that. But that's your typical insurance process. Bob and Mary, I have no problem going through that if you'd like. However, if you qualify, we can actually do what we call fast tracks. Now, folks, you can call this whatever you want, because as this gets out, you're going to have more and more companies doing this. We already have hundreds of organizations all across the country already using this. So you can call this fast tracks, you can call this whatever you want, but you let that homeowner know, if you qualify, we can get this roof done in as little as 1 to 2 weeks. We can get this roof on very, very quickly. We can skip all the arguing with the insurance company. That in itself is a reason why we want to go with fast tracks. But then we get a quick approval process. Now, the reason why I say a quick approval process, for one, we can get this job approved to get done, but also when the adjuster shows up, they will typically ask you what? What does that adjuster typically ask you as soon as they show up? Do you have a signed contract? Now, depending on how you pitch this, you can say yes, and it's fun to watch the adjuster's face when you let them know that you do have a signed contract and you show it to them. Now, also, the other thing that you're going to show them is that it's financed. Now, you don't tell the homeowner that you're financing right now, but it's financed, so they typically will use this as what they call cost incurred. Now, we all know that adjusters are human, and some of them are hard to deal with. Some of them are very easy, and they love to see this. They get really excited because you've done half their job for them. All they have to do is go up and verify that there's actually damage on the roof. You're going to have others that are just difficult. We all know this. There is nobody that's going to sit here and tell you that this is a foolproof, this is exactly how it's going to go, just because we know adjusters. But typically, there's very little arguing at all. And I'm going to show you why here in just a second. Quick approval process. We have a trade partner that guarantees the job. I'm going to let that homeowner know that we have a trade partner that's going to guarantee the job. Now, behind the scenes, we like to call this financing. And so I have a finance company. That's why I say if you qualify. But we have a trade partner that guarantees the project. We're going to hand the adjuster our signed work order showing cost incurred. Now, as of right now, as we all know, laws keep changing, different things keep moving. But as of right now, typically, if it's financed, they will use it as cost incurred. And depending on when you're seeing this, that may change. Now, insurance companies approve the project. So once they approve the project, we will schedule the install. So once that adjuster gets up and they say, yes, there's enough damage on this roof to warrant the claim and that they're going to go ahead and start this, we're going to go ahead and schedule the work. Because why? Because I really don't care how much the insurance company pays, to tell you the truth. That is the beauty of this whole thing. I didn't choose their insurance company. They did. The homeowners did. My job as a contractor is to replace the damaged roof. And that is what I'm going to do a great job at, okay? So once they approve it, then we're going to schedule the install. And then you get, being the customer, you get to choose what you want to do with the insurance proceeds. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a second, because that is the greatest part of this on the insurance part. And then you are in control the entire time. Now, we all know that there's nobody but the insurance company that is in control over here. Over here, we, or us and the insureds, are in control the entire time. This is how you explain it to the homeowner. When you explain how this works, you can either go with the insurance process or we can go with fast tracks. It's a takeaway sale if you qualify. What's going through that homeowner's mind is, well, how do I qualify? I'm glad you asked. You got your driver's license with you? I'm going to go ahead and get them approved for the financing right now. Now, when we use financing, what is the most beautiful part about financing? When you get the roof on and we send everything into the finance company, when do you typically get paid for financing? Immediately. They will ACH, usually by that evening or the next day, the full amount of that roof that you just put on will be inside of that company's account. Typically, depending on the finance company, will determine on how fast you get put in. So next, one of the greatest things to talk about with a homeowner is what they can do with the insurance proceeds. Now, you might be thinking like, well, of course they're going to just pay off the loan with the insurance proceeds. Typically, that's not what actually happens. When we get that opportunity to tell the homeowner that the only thing the insurance company cares about is that they get the roof taken care of that they paid for, okay? And they really don't care what you do with the insurance proceeds. Now, first, you can pay on the guarantee. I never say pay off. You can pay on. And the reason why is we upgrade everything. We'll get to that. I say you can pay on the guarantee, or you mentioned to me, and maybe they can pay off high interest debt. Remember that many of these people have very high interest debt that they're paying 20 or 27%. They got all this credit card debt, and the loan that we're going to give them is in like 5.99% or 7.99% or a free loan at 9.99%. And so they can pay off high interest debt. This is when they're doing smart things. Because if I can pay off a 27% debt with a 9.99% interest loan, because this is compound interest, that's not. Let's put it that way. So again, this is very, very smart. And when you explain this, because they don't come up with this on their own, you can explain that that's something that they can do. Or they can go ahead and remodel other parts of their home. Mary, you mentioned to me that you guys were working on the kitchen, or you were really upset because this just happened and you were hoping to use that money towards a new kitchen. Now you can. Not only can you use that money towards a kitchen, but the insurance company will probably give you enough to actually pay for that kitchen, if not more. And then you can purchase a car. Maybe you've been wanting a car, or you've been wanting to go on that really nice vacation. It's totally up to you. But there are so many things that you can do with these funds that they aren't thinking about. They don't know that they can take that and do whatever they want. Remember that the loans are anywhere between 3.99 and 9.99%. They are relatively cheap financing. And it's typically, depending on your financing, because I can't gauge what type of financing you're going to use, but typically it's not compound interest. It's a 5-year, it's a 10-year, it's a 15-year loan, whatever it is that you put them into, whatever vehicle you put them into. But this is very, very smart. And once you explain this to a homeowner, doors start to open up, and it's not just the door of getting their roof replaced. Now you're helping them with other parts of their life that they have been wanting to get taken care of. The next thing that we can discuss here is when we talk about what we're going to do with that roof. Now, if right now you're in a storm area that it typically gets hit every year, and some of you get hit every other week, but if you get hit every year, some of you don't get hit, but maybe every 5, 6, 7 years. And you probably don't get really big hail. And you're doing a homeowner injustice if you replace that roof with your typical shingle, if you will. You're doing them an injustice. There are SBS rubber shingles, there's composite roofing out there, there's metal roofing out there, there's stuff like Da Vinci and stuff like this that they can be putting on their roof, and it takes them to the point where they no longer have to pay for deductibles because it's not going to be affected by hail after you replace with a lifetime roof. The next thing I want to cover with you is, what type of roof are you going to sell them? You have the opportunity to educate your homeowner on what else is available. If they have your typical 3-tab, or maybe it's a cheaper, thinner architectural shingle that they have up there right now, most of you are going and just trying to replace with what they have currently up there. Stop. That roof was just damaged. And now you can ask that homeowner, hey, if I had the opportunity to stop you from having to continue to pay for deductible after deductible after deductible. Deductibles aren't, $500 to $1,500 anymore. Some of these deductibles are 2 to 3% of the dwelling. These deductibles are like $10,000, $20,000. And so when you're asking this homeowner that, hey, I'm sure that if I could just stop hail from happening, you'd be happy, right? Well, I can't do that. But what we could do is help prevent you from having to pay deductibles in the future. Let me explain to you how we can do this. And then you start to show them other products that you can install. Now, if you can upgrade their roof, if you can put them into better products, where does your margins go? Where does your revenue go? Up, right? So is this a bad thing? No. You're doing right by the homeowner. Some of you are even to the point where you're doing this like, well, I want to put on a regular roof because when it hits again, I can go right back and I can put on another roof. Please do the right thing by the homeowner. If you do the right thing, the money will always come. But so what I'm saying is upgrade that homeowner. Now, when we upgrade the homeowner, this is the most beautiful thing. I love this part of this. And it's the easiest way to switch an insurance job to retail. Because most of you are still worried about the insurance company. The insurance company, they dictate the prices. Insurance company never dictates the prices. You're a contractor. Act like one. And so when we're looking at this, when I can upgrade the homeowner, that insurance company has nothing to do with my pricing. And the insurance company won't even butt into what it is I'm charging. When they see that we're going from a typical 3-tab to an SBS rubber shingle, whether you're using OC, whatever you're using, you can upgrade to their class 4, their SBS rubber shingles, or if you're going to upgrade them to a composite of some sort, now that insurance company backs off. They're gonna pay for whatever is up there, they're gonna pay for whatever is like, kind, and quality, and then the homeowner knows that they have to pay extra. So when the insurance company comes in and they give their estimate, that homeowner doesn't say, well, the insurance company is only paying this. Yes, and you chose that metal roof. You chose that lifetime composite roof. And so, yes, they're gonna pay for a majority of the roof, and you just have to pay for the additional amount to get that upgraded lifetime roof. And so it makes things so easy. There's no arguing about the whatever the insurance company's paying. The insurance company's not coming in and saying, well, I got another contractor that you can use that they'll bring the price of this job down so that it fits within what we're paying. Because we're putting on a different roof, an entirely different type of roof. Now, you're probably, again, you're going back to, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so expensive. Bring back what their deductible is. If they're paying $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, and you're thinking, man, they're gonna have their insurance funds and they have to pay an additional $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to get this other roof? Yeah, because next year they don't have to pay another $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. And you show them that. And then after that, the year after that, they don't have to pay another $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. And I'm putting down, when I'm showing this, I'm putting down $30,000, $60,000, $90,000 of what could possibly come out of their pocket over the next 3 years unless we move into this. All of a sudden, this really expensive roof gets really inexpensive. I don't like to say cheap, but inexpensive. Here's one of the ways that you can ask this. John, let's pretend for a second that we were able to get this done for just a little more than what the insurance company is paying. Getting this type of lifetime roof, can you see the savings when you no longer have to pay deductible after deductible? It's that easy. All you're doing is putting it in front of them, you're putting it into their court and finding out what's coming back. This is where we marry the solution with the problem. You're thinking that they have storm damage and their problem is that they need a new roof. That is not their problem. Their problem is they need you to come up with a solution so that this doesn't happen again. So let's recap. First, you're going to show up to the house as you typically would. You're going to meet with the homeowners and you're going to go through the process as if you're going to do a typical storm restoration appointment. You're going to meet with the homeowner, you're going to get their information, you're going to get up on the roof, you're going to do a full inspection, you're going to bring it down to them so that they can see the damage that's on their roof. And once they agree that there is damage, now you have the opportunity to explain to them that you are one of the only companies in town that has the ability to give them options. Let me explain what your options are. So now you're going to talk to them about we can go the insurance process route if that's what you want. Or if you qualify, we can go with fast tracks and explain to them the benefits of going with fast tracks. Get them approved as soon as possible. Get them approved. The next thing is understanding how to explain this process to them that we want to upgrade the roof. Bob and Mary, we have an opportunity where you can stop paying this deductible. Get out what their deductible is. And when you find out that it's 2% of the dwelling, do the math, put it in front of them, watch their jaws hit the floor, and explain. You understand that inside this area that we do have storm activity. This probably isn't the first time, and it's probably not going to be the last time that you've seen a storm. And my job today is to make sure that this is one of the last times that you have to pay this deductible. So let's discuss what your options are with what we put up there. Explain to them what could happen if they got hit with storms over the next 3 years. Add that up and then bring in those products. Right now isn't the time to explain how much these products are, but explain what these products will do for them and how beautiful these products are. That gives them the chance. And again, you're going to let them know that the insurance company will pay for a lot of this. I can pay for all of it, but they will pay for a lot of it. They're going to pay for what is like, kind, and quality of what's on the roof, depending on if they have an ACV or RCV policy. But also explain to them what they can do with the insurance funds. This is all very easy. It's not hard, but what most of you are used to doing is taking the easy way out. And stop. Start doing what's right for the homeowner. Put them into the products that they need and put your company in the position of getting paid quickly. If your company gets paid quickly, you get paid quickly. Before you go, I want to make sure that you actually walk away from this with something that you can use on your very next appointment. We put together a full slide deck that breaks down everything that we have covered today. The mindset shift, the process, the framework for flipping insurance to retail, all of it. We build it out in Engage so that you can download it, print it off, and have it in your hands before you walk into your next home. This is not a summary. This is a tool that you can use. The link to get the full printable download is in the description right now. Click it, download it, and use it tomorrow. Because knowing this and doing this are two completely different things. And now you have no excuses not to. We will see you on the next video.